What's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm really excited because I'm going to be doing a highlight retouch and I'm going to walk you through the exact placement and how to do this really quickly, especially on this type of grow out. And this is also really exciting because this particular model was chosen for a salon centric Facebook Live. So you're going to be able to see a little bit of the behind the scenes of me doing that live in this video. Basically, we're going to take these really grown out highlights, we're gonna move them right on up and then do some creative toning with a 10-minute coloring system that's gonna be a base breaker. But before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you don't miss a tutorial. Now, let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, so here is my model. She is a natural level 7. I feel super lucky to work on this type of canvas. However, she does have quite a bit of roots. So her history is she hasn't gotten her hair done since last summer. So she's got quite a bit of regrowth going on. And the last time she had some highlights on top of a previous color. So kind of a harsh line of demarcation. Basically what I'm working with here is slightly damaged hair on the ends, high porosity. So I decided to go ahead and prep her with K18. Now this is not a sponsored video whatsoever, and I just want to disclose that because I really do love K18. I think it's an amazing product, and anytime I'm working with really fragile hair, I do like to prep the hair with that. So you just want to dampen it up and then spray on the K18, let it sit in for 4 minutes, and then make sure the hair is dry before proceeding to the next step. I always start out by sectioning her hair where her natural part line is, and then from the apex right down to the ear. And then for that back section, I'm just going to take a horizontal section over the occipital and split that up and then pin it away. From here, I'm going to go ahead and add in her hairline highlights, and I'm going to take this just right behind her hairline. So I'm taking down a slice and then weaving right on top of that. And I like to highlight my hairline highlights a little differently than most people. I usually flip it right on up, and this gives me a flatter working space to work with versus putting the foil right on down and having to work with the curvature of the neck and everything. So I like to foil this way. It makes it a little easier. When you first start foiling this way, it is a little wonky, but I promise as you practice, just like anything, it gets really easy to do. I'm adding in 2 highlights pretty much back to back here, super little hair in between each of these foils, and what that means is it's a slice and then I'm weaving right on top. So what this is going to do is make it have a little bit of depth but look like that highlight is kind of popping through when she pulls up her hair into a ponytail. It's going to look really beautiful, and you'll see at the end of this video. So for hairline highlights, I typically do 2 on each side, and then for that center, I do, just to kind of marry that section together, I'll do 2 more foils. Now what's really great about this technique is you don't have to put any more foils in the interior in the back side if you really don't want to. This is a great add-on service if you're in the salon and you want to be able to create a look that's going to look great if your client wears her hair up. So I really like this technique of just adding that 6 foils for a small extra fee on top of a partial, for example, or just simply doing the hairline highlights period. It can look really beautiful. So definitely try out this technique if you haven't already, and then let me know in the comments down below if you have and what you think about it. One thing that I forgot to mention, if you are concerned with the speed of your foiling, definitely use a lower volume developer for the hairline, just because the hair here is a little bit more fragile than the rest of the hair. However, I was really comfortable with the lightener I chose, which was Counter Professional Beyond Bond Lightener 1:2 mixing ratio with 20 volume developer, and it has that inner and outer bond technology, which I love, so I know I have the protection that I need along with the K18 treatment that's going on in her hair. Now for this interior, I'm going to take 2 V sections to start off with, and I'm doing a light teasy light and using my Cooboard. If you haven't watched my other videos, you know I love this Cooboard. If you want to learn how you can purchase your own Cooboard, be sure to check out the links in the description of this video or tap the link up above. It'll take you to one of my blogs where I share all of my favorite color tools, and then you can pick and choose what you like from my videos, and it'll take you straight to the website. And on some of the websites I have coupon codes, so be sure to be on the lookout for those as well. Now what you're seeing here for these interior highlights are all teasy lights, and they are taken with about, I would say, 1.5 to 2 inches wide sections for now, and that's just for this bottom section. And then I'm taking really deep weaves going on. But you can see everything is very triangular. I love triangle pieces because of the background that it provides. So we have that depth that we need in order for these highlights to be really visible. But for these really deep weaves, this is how we're gonna get that lightener to really brighten up a wide piece of area when sometimes we don't have too much time. And I chose this technique specifically because I had exactly 1 hour to get these foils put in and have them processed right before the salon centric live. So I needed her hair already lifted. So I literally had 15 minutes of processing time available. So that's really why I chose this technique. But this is also a great technique if you don't have too much time behind the chair and you need to really bust out these highlights and you have a lot of correction to do. For example, for this really harsh line, we want a lot of diffusion. So this is a great technique for that specifically. However, if you wanted an overall super highlighted blonde effect, you're going to need to go in with a different technique such as a baby light. But this was the happy medium we agreed on because of the time frame we were working with. So again, 1.5 to 2 inch wide sections, deep weaves, slight tease, and then using the Cooboard to brush that up. And along with my lightener, I'm kind of bringing that lightener right on down where those dark pieces are. And the reason for that is because of the lightener that I chose. That Beyond Bond is going to give me the protection needed. Her hair was in great condition in that mid zone. I was really more concerned with the ends. So I'm going to finish up this entire back section with horizontals until I finish all the way to where that apex is at. Still taking deep weaves throughout this entire section, still teasing. And the reason why I'm doing horizontals here is primarily because of the way that it's going to fall. Now, if you're still a little confused on placement and the effects that they create, be sure to check out my other video for foil placements and the effects to create. And hopefully this will bring a little bit more clarity onto why I'm finishing this up with more horizontals throughout this entire top section. For the sides, I'm going to start right onto that hairline by pulling the hair right on up and weaving down because I want those highlights to be really popping on her hairline. So I'm going to take this foil from roots to ends, getting really, really close, even though we're going to do a shadow root or root tap for that matter and base breaker. So I am going to tap in a little bit of depth right here on the hairline, but it's important to lift it so that way as that tone fades, it's actually going to last her so much longer and look really beautiful and seamless as it grows out. So I added 2 pretty much back-to-backs here, little small subsection in between, and then for all of the rest of the foils, it's about 1/2 inch wide, but you can still see that I'm taking some deep weaves here, and instead of teasing, what I'm doing is just using my Cooboard to do the one little push-up. So this is what's going to help me make it look a little rooted. I'm finishing up this side section all with diagonal backs, and then I'm going to move right to her money piece, doing the exact same technique on that hairline by pulling the hair all the way up and weaving those pieces down, doing 2 back-to-backs with very little hair in that subsection, and then finishing off with horizontal, barely teasy lights in the same exact fashion we did on that side section. Keep in mind, I was processing her hair with 20 volume this entire time. And the reason why I chose 20 volume is because I needed something to work really quickly on her hair because, again, I had that salon-centric live that I was working with. So normally I would go with a lower volume developer for this type of base because she's a natural level 7. but I had to work creatively here for exactly what I was doing. So as soon as I was done applying those foils, I immediately went to the back hairline just to check up on them, and you can see they were completely done processing. It's a beautiful shade of blonde. That's what happens when you get lucky with a natural level 7. So I'm using these kind of newer Framar gloves. They're called Bleach Blenders, and honestly I was a little skeptical about them when they first came out, but they work pretty amazing. They completely take off all of the lightener, and I love using this glove because it removes the lightener, let the lightener dry out, and it stops processing. So instead of having to rinse and do all of this extra fancy work, this just makes my life so much easier. So I absolutely am excited about how beautiful these hairline highlights are going to look, especially after we do that like little root tap. So this just kind of gives you a little visual here of just how beautiful this will look. And even if you just wanted to do a simple toner on this without the root tap, it's still going to look really, really beautiful. So from here on out, I just processed her for an extra 15 minutes, and I was praying that by the time we got to this point here that I was doing the Salon Centric live, she was done processing. And I was really, really excited that she was, and you'll see when I open up this foil here. So this is just like a little behind the scenes of me doing the live. And the right side is from the actual live itself, because for whatever reason my camera did give out, so I couldn't give you like the full frame here, but at least you get to see from the Salon Centric live perspective of the application. So just to kind of give you a little insight to this formula, you can watch how I'm applying it right now. I used Studio Stylist Express in 8N and 9A, equal parts with 20 volume, and I'm just kind of tapping it into that root area, and then I'm going to comb it right on down to where that line of demarcation, that harsh line that she originally had. So after I comb that through, literally the timer's starting here, and this Studio Stylist Express lifts and tones in 10 minutes. So it works really quickly, which is why I decided to do the color melt version on the mids and ends with a rapid toner. So the rapid toner is going to process in 5 minutes or less. And I decided to use Beige rapid toner with Silver Violet rapid toner, 1 to 2 with 9 volume developer. So I primarily just kind of focused on taking that Studio Stylist Express onto the root area and then leaving out those hairline highlights for last. So that's why it's isolated here, and I just barely tapped it in right on where that hairline is at. So literally just a ½ an inch, just tap, tap, tap. And as soon as I got that on, I threw on that Beige rapid toner using my comb and my Framar color brush. Again, if you want all of the details of everything that I used and formulas, tools, everything, make sure you look at the description of this video. I literally processed this for just 5 minutes as soon as I got that rapid toner on, and then took her back to the shampoo bowl immediately. But right here you can kind of see where I'm doing that blend between the two colors here. So I'm actually reapplying that Studio Stylist Express on those dark pieces, so that way it can give me a little bit more lift on that mid zone, again where that line of demarcation is, and then just using my hands to do my further blend. So once I got on the rapid toner, I had it on, like I said, for 5 minutes max. It might have even been 3. I honestly don't know because I was so busy doing the live. But I just visually looked at it and said, hey, you know what? This looks great. Let's go ahead and take her back to the shampoo bowl. I had my team do one thorough shampoo, and then we finished her off with the nourishing mask, and then styled her with a 1 1/4 inch Marcel iron and volume spray. And you can see here on the left what it looks like indoors with a warm light right on top of her head. And as soon as we're done here, I'm going to take her outside, and you're going to see what it looks like in natural light. So it's really important you express this to your client. And here is the final result. Look at this gorgeous melt outside in natural indirect lighting. It's absolutely gorgeous.
So I'm actually really excited about this outcome of this hair. We definitely diffused the line of demarcation, brought up those highlights a little bit, and this is definitely going to be a lot more lower maintenance for this particular model, which I'm really excited about. I think it has a beautiful blend. I love these hairline highlights so much, and I love even the face framing that we did right around the face. And honestly, Studio Styles Express along with the demi-permanent Rapitoners saved the day. So I really hoped you enjoyed this hair tutorial, and if you did, please give this video a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe, and comment down below what your favorite part of this entire tutorial was. I'll be sure to respond. Remember, you can find me on my other social channels like Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, all under Morella Manelli. If you enjoy listening to podcasts, be sure to check out my podcast called Hair B&B. It's a podcast where I help hairstylists just like you simplify color, styling, and their beauty biz. If you want free education sent right to your inbox, be sure to head on over to morellamanelli.com and sign up for my newsletter. And finally, be sure to check out my other hair tutorials right here on this channel, and I will see you next time.